You are an energetic being first and foremost, so the quality of your energy field is really important. It works like a filter, each part of the field enabling or preventing whatever is turning up in your life. This is the Future Self Energetics Show. I'm your host, Amanda Nelson, and I work in the body, mind and spirits community. I'm an award-winning master energist. That's a therapist that specialises in improving the quality of the energy fields that move in, through and around your body. If you want anything in your life to change, you have to begin with changing your energy field first. So my shows are a mixture of talk and therapy ideas, interviews and thought-provoking inspiration. They're all about energy fields, protection and connection. If there's a topic you'd love me to cover in my show, please email me, amanda@futureselfenergetics.com. And if you love the show here on UK Health Radio, please spread the word about it in your networks. Chiron and the Saturn return are distinct astrological phenomena that hold different meanings and influences in astrology. I've been working with the energies of Chiron's wounds and Saturn's lessons for about 5 years now. Recently, I've been asked how these phenomena are similar, how they're different, what gifts and insights do they bring, if they do. I can only share my own experiences of working with these energies, of course, but I'm thinking that maybe, given the energies that are swirling around us at the moment, this might be a great time to delve further into this awareness, so I hope it helps. My name's Amanda Nelson, I'm the Master Energist, and this is the Future Self Energetics Show on UK Health Radio. On the show this week, I'm connecting with Chiron and Saturn and asking, are the energies that accompany these planets friend or foe? I think that in the main, more people are aware of Saturn's influence than Chiron's, or at least that's what I've heard from people. I look at each one though, and if you know about them already, maybe this can be a good refresher for you. But if you don't already know about them both, then this will be a really enlightening show for you. Let's take a look at Saturn first then, and what a Saturn return is. On the day you were born, the planet Saturn held a specific position in its orbit around the Sun. And a Saturn return occurs when the planet Saturn completes a full orbit around the Sun and it returns to the precise location it held at the time of your birth. So it loops around the Sun, and when it comes back to exactly the same location, that is considered to be a full orbit, and it's the Saturn returning. This orbit takes around 29 years to complete. Saturn returns to this exact position then up to 3 times in your lifetime. So the first around the age of 28 to 30, that's the first Saturn return. Then it goes off again and it comes back between the ages of 58 and 60. That's the second Saturn return. And then 88 to 90 years old, the third Saturn return, if you're fortunate enough to live that long, of course. And during these periods, Saturn's influence brings about major life transitions, lots and lots of self-reflection, and the need also for taking responsibility and making important life choices, and some of them might be quite new life choices. I'll share with you that both of my Saturn returns were completely vile. I felt like I was being beaten up both times, although I do have to take some responsibility for it. I think that's because I was being really stubborn about changing my point of view about things that I really needed to attend to. I had my head in the sand and I wanted to keep it there, and I really resisted the changes and the opportunities for transformation that would ultimately be benefiting me. That doesn't mean that this is going to be your experience though. Hopefully you'll be more open and much less stubborn than I was. I think the first return for me was Saturn saying, well, here you go. This is what I'd like you to focus upon. I'll be back around in 30 years to see how you're doing managing this challenge that I've set you. And then when I did absolutely nothing about it, the second Saturn return came along and Saturn went, well, there's not much change here at all. I think you've ignored me. Right, I know. Move aside then and watch this. I'm making the choices for you from now on, and I'm going to make them in a way that you can't ignore them anymore. Boom. Hang on to your hat, Amanda. Good grief. I mean, I joke about it, but actually I felt really roughed up by Saturn returning both times. Now, I hope you're going to do better with your Saturn returns than I have. Next time Saturn return comes around, I shall, I'm sure, be getting bucket loads of praise from it though. Saturn will say, "Oh, well done, Amanda. Gold star for your efforts. Finally, you listened at last." The first Saturn return in particular is often seen as a rite of passage into adulthood. It would obviously do so as it takes place when you're approaching 30. I honestly don't think I really knew what I was doing until I was about 33 years old, though. So this first return around the age of 29 is a time of reassessment. It's where you're given the opportunity to evaluate your life honestly and your choices and your career and your relationships and your goals and your purpose, how you feel about yourself and your worth, how to embrace your unique place in the world. And then when you've done all of that, be sure to step into it. So the years just leading up to the Saturn return, so that would be around about the age of 28, and then through the Saturn return at its height, that's around about 29, and then tapering away, that's 30, let's say. This is going to be a period of significance for you. Hopefully it's a significant illumination that leads to a significant growth, a significant self-discovery, a significant, if required, restructuring of your life based on a much clearer understanding of your own personal value and the priorities that you feel should be important to you. Saturn returns always signify a time for honest reflection. I wasn't very good at that when I was 30. This honesty, I think, holds a key to this, as it reveals truths that can then lead onto right-centred choices if you're prepared to be open to it. So 3 returns, if you're fortunate enough to live that long, and each return gives you the opportunity for real self-reflection, beneficial transitions, and if you pay attention and do the work, you won't end up beaten up like I was. Your relationship with Saturn, though, is not the same as your relationship with Chiron. Whereas Saturn returns offer the opportunity for self-reflection and the chance to change course, Chiron is different. Chiron focuses on your lifelong woundings and the potential for healing and growth when you are able to gain mastery over the relationships you have with those wounds. Chiron wounds you at the very moment of your birth, and that wound's influence remains with you in some form or other throughout your life. It's a permanent thread in your life, sitting there exerting its influence in your astrological chart. Saturn seems to me to especially exert its influence over certain transitional opportunities in your life. Chiron's wounding, though, appears to be present all the time, every day. It's there in some way, shape or form in everything. And you can rise above the wounding, yes, but it will always be there, sitting there in some form. So let's rewind a little bit. What is Chiron? Chiron's a minor planet. Some people say it's actually a comet. It's often referred to, though, as the wounded healer in our charts. It represents our deepest emotional wounds, our inner pain, and the journey of self-healing and self-discovery that we are on as an individual. Chiron signifies the areas of your life where you may have experienced significant challenges, traumas, insecurities, longings. It's a repeating pattern. It's a constant present theme. It signifies the areas of your life where you might always experience those same sorts of challenges. Chiron's placement in your birth chart indicates the specific wounds and areas of vulnerability that you may grapple with throughout your life then. Let's not be afraid of it though. Let's work with it, gain wisdom from it. Yes, you heard me right, wisdom. It isn't all bad news to be able to know what our woundings are. Chiron also points to your potential for healing, for growth, empathy and wisdom, even though these things may originate out of what only can be described as a kind of pain. Chiron then, this wounded healer in Greek mythology, represents a profound archetype for us, one that brings awareness to your deepest wounds and the potential for healing that can be uncovered if you're prepared to go to those wounds. In astrology and metaphysical practices, Chiron is associated with your personal wounds, your emotional pain, and the journey towards self-healing that you're on. And it is a lifelong journey. Why the wounded healer? Chiron was a master of medicine and of healing too, and yet he did not, maybe it was that he could not, heal himself. In birth charts, Chiron represents people's biggest spiritual wounds as well as their most significant healing powers. Will you choose to heal yourself? Will you persevere and benefit? Or will you stay wounded by Chiron throughout your lifetime? So by now, you're probably going to be saying, well, how do I find out about Chiron and my individual wound? Well, all you need to know, first of all, is the position that Chiron held in your astrological birth chart at the time of your birth. And to find out which astrological house Chiron is in your birth chart, ideally you have your complete birth chart calculated by an astrologer, because they're the people that will not only be able to plot the nuances of Chiron's wounding in your chart, but they will also then be able to say this is how it's affecting you because of the astrological sign it's in, and also things like the other relationships there are with other aspects that are also in your chart at the time of your birth. You can at least, if you haven't got access to an astrologer, you can at least find out generally though which of the woundings relates to you. All you need is your birth date and your location of birth. Ideally your time of birth as well. I don't know mine, and I've found it's not essential if I want some kind of general idea. So the placement of Chiron within a particular astrological house highlights the specific area of life where your wounds and potential for healing are most prominent. So I went online, I typed in Chiron wounding astrology chart, and up came all sorts of options for me, and I clicked on one of them and it said, if you'd like to know where your Chiron wounding is in your chart, put in your birth date, put in your place of birth, put in your time of birth if you know it, and then you just click. I didn't have to pay to find this information out, and within seconds the software was able to come back and tell me what my wounding was. Then I had to dig a little bit deeper, do a bit of research to reliable sites that talk about Chiron's wounds and what it means when they're in specific astrological houses. And then up came the wound and gave me lots and lots of information about it. So Chiron can be in any of the 12 astrological houses. Here's some examples though. If Chiron is in the 7th house, that represents partnerships and relationships. It generally suggests that your deepest wounds and your greatest potential for healing, of course, are likely to be connected to your interactions with others, your intimate relationships, your ability relating in your life. But if Chiron appears in the 10th house, that's going to be really different. When Chiron is in the 10th house, it's traditionally associated with areas such as career, public image, reputation, your achievements, your authority, and your life direction. So there's quite a difference between the different houses. And so it's quite important, I think, to find out where Chiron sits, even generally, depending on your birth date and also your birth location. Understanding yourself in your wounded healer is really going to provide you with valuable information about the specific areas of life where you may repeatedly encounter challenges, and of course also where you have the repeating potential for healing, profound healing, self-discovery, personal development. Knowing your wounded healer can serve as a guide. It has done for me. It's enabled me to access greater focus in my self-reflection, self-awareness, and also exploring my own healing journey. So I'm hoping that this will help you. I found that by working with the wisdom that Chiron brings, you can really focus your intention on positive changes. So merely knowing your wounding often also releases for you all sorts of energetic entanglements in your energy field. It's like some kind of penny drops. You breathe out and you say, yes, I get it, of course, that makes sense. And at that very point, all of the energetic veils and masks, they all fall away, and the healing process then can begin. So find out, first of all, which of the 12 signs your Chiron is located within. And then if you're not connected with an expert who can decipher the nuances and the deep meaning in your chart, go online to reputable resources and find out what your wounding is. And not only will most good quality references explain more about your individual wounding, how it shows up in your life, if you like, they should also be able to give you general clues as to how, at worst, to just live with the wounding, but at very best, to overcome the wounding entirely. So the placement of Chiron in a particular astrological sign, an astrological house, is supposed to signify what your deepest spiritual wound is. And after identifying this wound, it has also the potential to show you how to heal from that wound as well. This is the healing potential Chiron brings, the wisdom that this amazing energy shares. When you look at charts that identify Chiron, you will see actually that the symbol for Chiron actually resembles what looks to be a little key. I feel that this is because Chiron is supposed to give you a key to understanding yourself and your wounding, as well as a key to being able to engage with that wounding and unlock the healing process that ultimately is going to benefit you. I'll be honest, when I put my birth date and location of birth into one of the many online Chiron calculators, I was stunned when my wounding came back, because it was absolutely correct.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Chiron and the Saturn return are distinct astrological phenomena that hold different meanings and influences in astrology. I've been working with these energies, the energies of both of them, for a while now, and I was asked really to explain how these phenomena are similar and how they're different, what gifts and insights they bring, and also what it is that people can learn from them the most, how they can heal from them. I can only share my experiences, of course, because I'm not an expert in astrological charts, but I'm thinking that maybe, given the energies that are around us at the moment on the infinite energy grids, this might be a great time for you to delve further into this awareness. I really sincerely hope it's going to help you. My name's Amanda Nelson. I'm the Master Energist, and this is the Future Self Energetics Show on UK Health Radio. And on the show this week, I'm connecting with Chiron and Saturn and asking, are the energies that accompany these planets actually friend or foe? So we've covered that Chiron's placement in your birth chart indicates the specific wounds and areas of vulnerability that you may well wrestle with throughout your life. And we've also looked into how Saturn returns are different. And with those returns comes a kind of opportunity for reckoning, self-reflection, honest self-reflection. Both are potent energies, but Chiron, I think, is the wounding that we ought to be focusing on now, and in many ways focusing upon the majority of the time, because I think it holds that key to real healing and release. So why so? Well, Chiron's placement in your birth chart indicates a specific wound and areas of vulnerability that you're going to grapple with throughout your life. Chiron does not have a specific astrological event known as Chiron's return like Saturn does. Chiron's with you all the time. So the concept, or Chiron's energy is, so the concept of a Saturn return is unique to the planet Saturn. And as I've already said, it refers to the periods in a person's life when Saturn, the planet, completes its first and second and third orbits around the Sun after you've been born. Chiron's influence is continuously present, though, from what I can see. I shouldn't forget to mention that there is a phase, though, where Chiron does move into a position in your chart that is worth noting. And that's when it's directly opposite where it sat in your chart at the time of your birth. Chiron's influence is truly amplified when it goes opposite. So this typically happens around the age of 50. This will be a time of significant re-evaluation in relation to the deep lifelong woundings you have carried. I suppose in many ways you could say that this is where Chiron stands in front of you and says, well, are you prepared to be swallowed up by your woundings, or are you working with them to find healing yet? If you still have unresolved wounds, this Chiron opposition is going to trigger a deeper exploration of the personal healing and growth that's needed. During this time, if this is you, you may have the opportunity to finally confront those past traumas, release old patterns, embark upon a profound healing journey once and for all. It is an opportunity for you now to be bold and to insist that you follow a path of healing. So whilst the Chiron opposition is not as widely recognised or emphasised as the Saturn return, I think it undoubtedly represents a crucial phase in your life. It actually undoubtedly represents your whole life. Chiron invites you to be honest with yourself about the deepest wounds that you carry. And more than that, it invites you to also embrace the potential in healing and self-discovery because of the honest engagement with your wounds. Now, astrology is a complex and multifaceted system, and interpretations vary among astrologers. I understand that. Different practitioners may have different perspectives on the significance and influence of Chiron upon us. From me, I absolutely get it, and I welcome the different perspectives that they may be able to bring. So if you're interested in this, I'd suggest you use this show as a basis. Maybe have a quick look online. And then, if you don't already know a professional astrologer, ask your friends, ask people that you trust, and say, can you recommend a professional astrologer? Because I'd like to delve into my relationship with Chiron much more deeply. Because the insights a professional astrologer can give you can really help with the fine detail.
UK the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
My name's Amanda Nelson, I'm the Master Energist, and this is the Future Self Energetics Show on UK Health Radio. And on the show this week, I'm connecting with Chiron and with Saturn, and I'm asking, are these energies that accompany these planets, are they actually friend or foe? So Chiron and Saturn are distinct astrological phenomena, and they hold very different meanings and influences in astrological terms. But what gifts and insights do they bring? I can only share my own experiences of working with these energies, but I'm thinking that maybe, given the energies that are swirling around us at the moment, this might be a great time for you to delve in further with this. Chiron then, its placement in your birth chart indicates the specific wounds and areas of vulnerability that you may well grapple with. Saturn returns, and with it comes a kind of opportunity for reckoning and transformation. Both are really potent. But I think really in the show today, Chiron is the wounding in some ways that I would like us to work on the most. It's both friend and foe, as is a Saturn return. But I think Chiron and the wounding holds a key to real releases on a long-term basis. It holds the key to us as being the wounded healer and how we can recover, how we can address our personal wounds, our emotional pain and the journey that we're on. So when you're working with the awareness that Chiron brings, it's essential, I think, to approach it with compassion and openness. And here really is my general perspective on how I suggest my clients work with Chiron during their self-practice when they're getting started. So the first step, I think, really is to truly understand that Chiron requires you to master your own transformation. Chiron won't accept it from anyone else. It's not really something you can delegate to anyone else. So, for example, I could support you, but I certainly wouldn't be able to do the work for you. So I can be in service to you as you transform, but ultimately Chiron's pathway to healing is down to you yourself. And Chiron invites you to recognise and also to accept the wounds or areas of pain within yourself. Just accept it. You don't have to judge it. I think it may involve gently and objectively exploring things, maybe looking gently at past traumas, looking at your limiting beliefs, looking at the patterns that emerge, the behaviours that no longer serve your highest good. You don't have to be hard on yourself about these things. What we're looking for is, where is that wound showing up? Where is the opportunity for the healing that the wound opens and unlocks for us? And I think by acknowledging this, you create space for that healing to then take place. We don't want to lock it down with judgment. What we want to do is open it up by remaining objective. I think it can be immensely helpful to have support as you work on these deeper woundings, even though ultimately the responsibility is going to be very much down to you. So once you've clearly identified your woundings, enlist the help of therapists, get in touch with counsellors or energy healers like myself. There's lots of people that can help you with this. They don't have to be aware of Chiron. You don't even have to mention it to them, or its influence, or the wound, or the fact that you're looking for a key. Chiron is there just to shine a light on the wounding, and it's working with the wounding with whoever you feel safe to work with that's the most important thing. Working on your woundings with professionals, they can hold space for you to explore the wounding in a safe way, and it enables you to also receive some guidance and perhaps insights, and allows these things to merge and emerge and flow and blend. And they'll often, I think, professionals will be able to share tools with you that you can then use that will assist you in navigating into this healing space. You can explore various healing modalities, choose one that resonates with you. It could be energy healing, it could be Reiki, it could be breath work, somatic practices, or it could be something quite different. Any modality that you feel is going to support the healing process and facilitate releases, help you to navigate these deep woundings is going to be right. Now, not all parts of your healing journey can be shared. So self-reflection practices such as journaling, meditation, maybe even an inner dialogue as you walk in nature, that's going to help you to gain deeper insights into your wounds and the healing potential that's in there as well. You can explore origins, how these wounds impact you, how they have impacted your life. Maybe they've overshadowed your life or been a constant companion for you in your life, or a continuing challenge in your life. What lessons does that hold for you? Try to be objective. Don't get into judgment. Don't feel as if you've got anything wrong or that there's anything you could have done better. What I'd like you to do is don't look back. Focus on now. Be very present with the now, because the now correctly navigated will create a future that feels very healed. Treat yourself with kindness. Be understanding and forgiving. Be loving throughout the healing process. Practice those established self-care activities that will nurture your spiritual, psychic, emotional, physical, sensual, mental and energetic well-being. Chiron's energy offers an opportunity for profound growth and transformation. And as you work with your wounds, strive to find and tease out the wisdom and lessons that they hold. Use the experiences to cultivate more empathy and resilience and greater understanding for yourself, and then also for others. Allow yourself that space of transformation. So healing, I believe, is always a journey, and it takes time to navigate this journey and to learn from it. Chiron's wounding is lifelong, so be patient with yourself and just trust the process will take you in the direction it's intended for you to go. And as you continue to work with the awareness that Chiron brings, you're going to uncover layers of healing and growth and transformation that are going to benefit you. Everybody's healing journey is unique, though. What works for one person may not work in quite the same way for another. But trust your intuition. I think you should trust it. Seek the approaches that resonate with your individual needs and preferences. I know you'll get it right. So, what do you think? Chiron and Saturn are the energies that accompany these planets, friend or foe for you? I'll let you be the judge of that. That's it for another show this week. I'm thrilled that you dropped by. I present Future Self Energetic Show every week for UK Health Radio, and I'd be delighted to spend more time with you next week, so do tune in. The world of energy is amazing, and it's magical and it's mysterious, and there's always so much for us to explore about it. You have a vital connection to a web of energy fields around you. Use that connection for your benefit. I've been working with vibrational energetics all my life, and I know that when you improve your energy field, you can up-level any part of your life. You can find out more about me, my courses and Future Self Energetics at my lifestyle website, beyondthegoldenegg.com. I'm also on Twitter. You can find me at Ask Amanda Nelson. Focus on the quality of the energy in your energy field. Focus on your entire energy field every single day, because a great energy field has the potential to change anything. I'm looking forward to connecting with you again next week. Love to you and yours. Bye-bye.